This is absolutely crazy. Liverpool have turned down a bid of £150 million from Al-Ittihad in the Saudi Arabian Pro League for Mohamed Salah. This is absolutely crazy. Football's gone mad, and in this video we'll break down some of the repercussions if the bid ever got to the point where Liverpool could accept. My take on the current bid, 150 million quid, and what it means for Salah and Liverpool this season as well. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, we really appreciate it. The overview. £150 million for a 31-year-old winger, one of the greats to ever play for Liverpool, one of the greats to ever play in the Premier League. Obviously, for Al-Ittihad, someone that would be the highest paid player in Saudi Arabian football, ahead of Ronaldo, close to £1.5 million a week. Absolutely crazy. And obviously, the Saudi Arabian Pro League has come in, shocked football, shocked the Premier League, there's no question about it. Actually had a big influence, on Chelsea, but certainly Liverpool, in terms of Jordan Henderson and Fabinho. Go in there. So the Saudi Arabian Pro League has got that kind of influence. It has a later kind of deadline. The Premier League deadline day is today, of course. So that's massive for Liverpool, because if the money came in, they wouldn't be able to replace Salah like for like anywhere near. We'll talk about that later, because I think there is quality in the squad that could replace Salah. But on some level, 150 million quid for Liverpool is unbelievable money. It really is unbelievable money. Now, we have to just look at the facts straight off. They have rejected it. So 150 million quid for a winger, making him one of the most expensive players of all time. It would be a good look for Liverpool if they did sell on one level, because the money is so record-breaking. They're not looking stingy or anything like that. They're looking like, Biz just come in and we let him go. He might even want to go himself. He might want that kind of money. Obviously, came out last week and kind of talked about wanting to at least chat to Al-Ittihad about the deal. Remains to be seen if that happened. But on that level, Liverpool wouldn't look too bad, because the money is outrageous. And if the player wants to go, obviously Saudi Arabia, there's obviously a massive factor of him being Islamic as well, which is obviously a massive advertisement for Saudi Arabian football, and for, for people watching in Saudi Arabia. You can see why he would be such a diamond to get in the league. And obviously beyond that, cultural kind of connection to Saudi Arabia is the kind of player that they're getting. Still one of the best, maybe top 3, top 4 footballers in world football. A guy that would start for Man City, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich tomorrow. And if he went to Saudi Arabia right now, it'd be a massive advertisement for football in that country, and the kind of ambition of the league, the ambition of Al-Ittihad, and the kind of money that these guys are willing to spend. They're not on joke old footballers that want one more payday, but they're going for the real true athletes that represent football. So on that level, it kind of makes sense why they're going for it. You have to say fair play to Liverpool for standing up to this bid. Now, maybe they're trying to, I don't know enough about the Liverpool hierarchy. Maybe that they realise there's still, a few hours to go in the window, 12 hours to go in the window. Maybe they're trying to squeeze for 160, 170 million quid. Because the bid came in so early, 100 million quid earlier in the window. Maybe they think you can get closer to 200 million quid. Which would be it's like free money for Liverpool with the amount they spent on him in the first place. What was it, close to 30 million quid? It's basically pure profit on the balance sheet for Liverpool. Maybe they're thinking, if we reject it, we might get a bigger bid later in the window. But that's theoretical. All we know right now is that Liverpool have rejected that kind of money in the first place, which is admirable. It says a lot about Jurgen Klopp. It says a lot about the project, that Liverpool believe in their vision of this season. They believe in where the club's going. And they believe that Salah can have an influence this season to get Liverpool back to winning the Premier League, back to being in the Champions League. They feel they need Salah on their books to do that. That's the gauge that I'm getting as well. So that's a massive advertisement for Liverpool, that they aren't going to get bullied by Saudi Arabian money. Henderson made sense. Fabinho made sense because of their ages and maybe less relevance in the squad. Poor seasons last season for Fabinho in particular as well. Salah is still scoring goals. He scored, 30-odd goals last season in all competitions. A player, again, as I said, would be taken by any big club in world football. If Liverpool do actually end up turning down all bids, all propositions, then it's a massive clean sheet for Liverpool. It's a massive defensive three-pointer for them to keep an icon of their club, to keep an icon of Premier League and European football in the best league in the world. It's an advert for Premier League football if he was to stay amidst the bid of 150 million quid. And I can't quite believe it. What world are we living in? It's absolutely crazy. I barely got Neymar to PSG for 200 million. I didn't really get Mbappe. But this would be a crazy move, because, in a couple of years, he's 33, 34. He loses a yard of pace, with all due respect. He's someone that obviously scintillates, excites people. cuts in on his left foot, can score worldies, but he isn't Ronaldinho flair, is he? He's not Robinho when Man City signed him for 30 million quid. It's not that kind of signing. He's just a pure athlete, and he'd be a massive advertisement for Saudi Arabian football. Let's just talk about Liverpool. Let's just say theoretically they let him go. I've talked about the money that would be potentially coming in. 150 million quid is great money on a financial level, but all I can do is talk about football. I think they could go this season, get back in the top 4 without Salah. I really do believe that, and that's because of the signing of Gravenberch, Endo in midfield, Szoboszlai, McAllister. I think they've shored up their midfield. I think their resilience against Newcastle is a good example of the mentality still there from Jurgen Klopp. The desire to win against the odds is still there. Salah's goals important, but I think you can play Núñez on the right. I think those kind of balls that come across, the kind of position he operated in those 2 goals against Newcastle was on his right foot on the right side of the goal. You know, we're used to seeing Salah cutting in and Mane cutting in from the left. Maybe it's Núñez on the right who works really, really hard, can whip things into Jota, whip things into the back post with Diaz, for example. And then it's Núñez's opportunity, an £85 million signing in his own right to take Salah's spot. Suddenly he has 15, 20, 25 goals, and then you replace the goals and you get pure profit on the balance sheet. I'm just sat here theorising, but I think it makes a lot of sense. The left side of the front 3 for Liverpool, absolutely shored up in my opinion. I absolutely love Diaz. I think he's absolutely fantastic. Then you got Gakpo and Jota down the middle. They've obviously got rid of Firmino, which obviously cleared up a bit of space for those 2 to flourish. And then you can even play Jota and Gakpo as well, of course, at the same time, down the middle, one off each other. And then you can have Núñez on the right, playing more football, getting used to Premier League football in his 2nd season. The ceiling for him is massively high, and he's still so young as well. So I think that's the opportunity of this situation, is to get so much money for Mohamed Salah. He leaves on good terms, because I think it's a deal that if he was to leave Liverpool, he'd want to do it for his own reasons, for his financial security, whatever that means. But it looks like a deal that he might be interested in. And then Liverpool don't look like complete mugs, because you know, they did turn down bids. They've already turned down 100 million quid. If they do go for 150 million quid plus in the next few hours, it remains to be seen. Even if it happens later next year or in January, then they look a lot better politically, because they've turned it down and they've relented to a bid that is outrageous, beyond all proportion of football kind of sense and sensibility. So I think Mohamed Salah on one level, if he stays, I think Liverpool will be a force. I think they've made the right signings around him, especially in that midfield area that can kind of cover him positionally. But if he does go, I think Núñez could definitely play on the right. Núñez, Diaz, Gakpo, Jota, that feels fresh to me. That feels hungry. I think Jurgen Klopp, whatever you say, they need hunger. I don't doubt that Mohamed Salah's got that in abundance. But at the age of 31, when you're being offered a 1.5 million quid and your head's being turned slightly, I think sometimes just cut your losses and get the money in, lads. That's what I'd say. Crazy money. If you're a Liverpool fan watching, I'd love to see what you think about if you should keep Salah or not. Of course, you want to keep your best players all the time. You know, people saying about Harry Kane staying at Spurs. They're a better side with Harry Kane in, of course. But there's always an optimistic look with a side with fresh legs, fresh ideas. Look at James Maddison. You know, if Gravenberch, Endo, McAllister, Szoboszlai all come in, and Núñez plays on the right instead of Salah, that is a fresh Liverpool, whatever you say about it. So very keen to see what you think in the comments down below. But 150 million quid, absolutely outrageous for Mohamed Salah.